It started as a typical upbeat segment on the Kelly Clarkson Show, with the audience cheering as Daddy Swims took his seat next to Kelly. The soulful singer was there to promote his latest album, known for its heartfelt lyrics and smooth tone. Kelly greeted him warmly, and laughter filled the studio as the two discussed songwriting and success. But what began as lighthearted soon shifted into unexpected tension that no one saw coming. During the conversation, Kelly praised Daddy's voice but mentioned that his lyrics seemed darker than his previous work. "Were you in a tough place emotionally?" she asked sincerely. Teddy smiled, hesitated, and replied, "Yeah, but I'm not sure it's something to analyze on TV." The tone in the room changed slightly as Kelly laughed nervously, unsure if he was joking. The audience picked up on the awkwardness, murmuring softly. Kelly tried to recover the flow by shifting gears. "I totally get that," she said quickly. "As an artist, we all pull from pain." But Teddy seemed distant, crossing his arms slightly. "Yeah," he said, "but sometimes it feels like people only want to hear about your pain when they can package it into entertainment." Kelly blinked, visibly taken aback, realizing the conversation was heading into uncomfortable territory. The air grew heavier as Teddy's tone hardened. "I write music because it helps me survive," he continued, "not because I want it turned into sound bites." Kelly maintained her professionalism but glanced at the producers off camera, perhaps signaling to steer the interview back. "Of course," she said with a smile, "and that's what makes you great." Yet the moment had already taken root. The studio audience, unsure whether to laugh or applaud, fell silent. Teddy leaned forward, saying, "I'm just tired of interviews where people pretend to understand my songs." Kelly, slightly defensive now, responded, "I don't think that's fair, Teddy. I really do understand what you're saying." The crowd gasped slightly at his bluntness, realizing this wasn't scripted tension, it was real emotion boiling over. Trying to diffuse the situation, Kelly gestured kindly. "We're all fans of your honesty," she said. Teddy smiled faintly but muttered, "Honesty's not always welcome on TV." The jab landed harder than expected. Kelly shifted uncomfortably, adjusting her seat while maintaining her bright expression. The band in the corner exchanged glances, sensing the growing storm. The next question was supposed to lighten the mood about Teddy's tattoos and stage style, but he barely engaged. Instead, he said, "You know, sometimes I think people just want me to play the role of a emotional singer gay. It's tiring." Kelly, still smiling but clearly flustered, replied, "That's not what I'm doing here." Teddy shrugged, saying quietly, "Feels like it." By now, social media clips of the episode's taping were already spreading through the studio audience's phones. Hashtags about Teddy versus Kelly started appearing on X and TikTok. Producers backstage whispered nervously, watching the feed. Kelly, ever the professional, tried to bring humor back into the segment. "Well," she joked, "I think we all get a little dramatic sometimes." But Teddy didn't laugh. "I'm not trying to be dramatic," he said seriously. "I'm trying to be heard." Kelly nodded respectfully, saying, "I hear you," but Teddy replied, "No, you listen, but that's not the same as hearing." The studio erupted in quiet tension. It was the kind of live TV discomfort that grips viewers and leaves producers scrambling. Kelly exhaled slowly, keeping her composure intact. The audience applauded lightly, unsure if the exchange was part of a planned act. Kelly looked toward the teleprompter, searching for a smooth transition, but Teddy's body language made it clear he was done talking. He removed his microphone gently, stood up, and said, "I think I'm gonna step out." Gasps echoed as he turned and walked off stage mid-segment. Kelly, ever the host, reacted with grace. "Well, folks," she said with a nervous chuckle, "that's live television for you." The audience responded with uncertain laughter. Cameras quickly cut to a commercial break as producers rushed behind the scenes. Online viewers, however, were already posting clips titled "Daddy Swims Walks Off Kelly Clarkson Show." During the break, Kelly reportedly stayed calm, sipping water and reassuring her crew. "He's passionate," she said softly. "I get it." Meanwhile, Teddy was seen pacing backstage, visibly frustrated. Sources later claimed he felt cornered emotionally by the line of questioning, even though Kelly hadn't intended to provoke him. When the show returned, Kelly addressed the situation briefly. "We had a little moment there," she said with a smile. But that's what makes live shows authentic. The audience applauded, though some could sense her unease. The show carried on, but the energy had shifted. Viewers at home flooded social media with divided opinions. Within hours, entertainment blogs picked up the story. Headlines like "Daddy Swims walks off Kelly Clarkson's show" made interviews spread across the internet. Some accused Kelly of being insensitive, while others said Teddy had overreacted. Hashtags #DaddySwims and #KellyClarksonShow trended worldwide for 2 straight days. Teddy broke his silence later that evening on Instagram Live. Sitting in a dimly lit room, he told fans, "I didn't storm off to make a statement. I just needed to breathe." He explained that he'd been struggling emotionally that week and that the questions hit a nerve. His honesty resonated with fans, and the comments section flooded with support. Kelly's team released a short statement the next morning. Kelly Clarkson has nothing but respect for Teddy Swims and his artistry. "Sometimes conversations take unexpected turns, and that's part of being human." The balanced response earned Kelly praise for professionalism and empathy. Still, rumors of behind-the-scenes tension continued circulating. A source close to production revealed that Kelly later reached out privately to Teddy. She genuinely wanted to check on him, the source said. There were no hard feelings. That call reportedly eased tensions, though both agreed not to publicly revisit the incident. Yet fans demanded closure, dissecting every social media post for hidden messages. Analysts called the moment a new kind of celebrity authenticity. They noted how unfiltered emotion at once avoided on television and now fuels viral content. "People crave real reactions," one TV critic said, "even if it means awkwardness." The Teddy-Kelly exchange became symbolic of that shift, blending art, emotion, and media spectacle. Over the next week, clips from the interview reached millions. Fans debated whether Kelly's questions crossed the line or if Teddy was simply overwhelmed. Late-night hosts even joked about it, with one quipping, "Kelly's show got a little too real for Teddy." Yet, many defended him, saying vulnerability shouldn't be mocked. Behind the scenes, Kelly reflected privately on the event. Friends said she was shaken not by Teddy's actions, but by how quickly public perception shifted. "It's wild how people build narratives overnight," she told a colleague. "We were just talking about music." She emphasized that she admired Teddy's passion despite the outcome. Teddy took a few days off social media afterward, later re-emerging to post a heartfelt message. "Artists are people first. Sometimes we break on camera. It happens." Fans rallied behind him, appreciating his raw transparency. Kelly liked the post quietly, which fans noticed immediately, sparking talk of reconciliation. A week later, Teddy was invited back to the show. At first, he declined, but eventually, after discussions with producers, he agreed on one condition: "Let's just talk music this time," he said. Kelly agreed wholeheartedly. The reunion episode was scheduled and heavily promoted, drawing massive anticipation online. When the day arrived, both artists greeted each other warmly. The atmosphere was lighter, filled with laughter. Kelly said with a grin, "We made headlines last time." Teddy chuckled, replying, "Yeah, not the kind I planned on." The crowd laughed, easing months of tension. Their chemistry, once awkward, now seemed genuine and relaxed. The two discussed the importance of honesty in art. Kelly admitted, "That's why people love you. You say what others are afraid to." Teddy smiled, nodding. "And that's why I respect you. You let people be themselves, even when it gets messy." The audience applauded loudly, sensing a moment of healing between them. By the end of the segment, the two performed a duet spontaneously, an acoustic version of Teddy's hit song. The performance went viral again, but this time for the right reasons. Fans called it a redemption moment and praised both artists for their growth. It became one of the show's highest viewed clips of the year. In later interviews, Kelly reflected on the ordeal with humor. "We both learned something about boundaries, communication, and caffeine," she joked. Teddy echoed the sentiment, saying, "We turned an awkward moment into art." Their friendly banter proved that even public clashes can lead to creative connection. The story became a pop culture lesson about emotional honesty. Entertainment critics pointed out that the unplanned moment gave both artists a new dimension. Instead of polished perfection, viewers saw humanity of frustration, vulnerability, and ultimately forgiveness. It reminded audiences that live TV can still surprise. Fans continued referencing the incident months later, but it had shifted from controversy to inspiration. Many cited it as proof that authenticity resonates deeper than staged politeness. Kelly and Eddy even hinted at a future collaboration, teasing followers with cryptic emojis online. By year's end, the once awkward walk-off had evolved into a story of redemption. Kelly's show earned record viewership, and Eddy's next album soared to the top of the charts. What began as tension became triumph, a testament to how conflict, handled with grace, can strengthen reputations instead of ruin them. Looking back, both stars admitted they wouldn't change a thing. "It was real," Kelly said in a later interview, "and that's what people want, a real." Eddy agreed, smiling softly. "Sometimes walking away is just the first step toward coming back stronger." Their once heated exchange became one of TV's most unforgettable and human moments. Even after the dust settled, fans continued to debate the incident across every major platform. Some insisted Eddy's reaction had been justified, calling it a moment of emotional truth, while others defended Kelly's professionalism, saying she'd handled the situation with grace. The debate reignited every time someone reposted the clip, turning it into a timeless viral moment that refused to fade away. Entertainment journalists began using the clash as a case study in how fame and vulnerability can collide. Eddy's reaction wasn't just about one interview, wrote one columnist. It was a reflection of how artists struggle when the world expects them to perform their emotions. The piece went viral, earning both artists new respect for showing authenticity under pressure. Kelly's team, recognizing the ongoing attention, leaned into transparency. During a later broadcast, she addressed the topic indirectly, saying, "We all have days where we don't feel seen or understood. The best thing we can do is show compassion, even when it's uncomfortable." Without mentioning Eddy by name, fans instantly understood who she meant. Behind the scenes, Eddy was working tirelessly on new music that reflected everything he learned. One song, titled "The Walk Off," became an emotional anthem about reclaiming strength after feeling misunderstood. The lyrics spoke of finding peace after the noise, a clear nod to his experience with Kelly. Listeners praised it as one of his rawest, most honest works yet. When the song dropped, fans flooded the comments with references to that interview. Instead of mocking him, they thanked him for transforming pain into art. "You turned a viral moment into healing," one wrote. The track quickly charted on streaming platforms, proving that controversy, when handled with authenticity, can fuel creativity instead of destroying it. Kelly herself heard the song and later commented during a radio interview, "It's beautiful. I think he said what he needed to say, and that's what real artists do." Her praise was subtle but meaningful. It marked the final closure on what had once been an uncomfortable topic. Eddy responded days later with the heart emoji and the words, "All love." As months passed, the relationship evolved into quiet mutual respect. When both appeared at the same awards show later that year, fans wondered if they'd cross paths again. Cameras captured a friendly hug backstage, which sent social media into overdrive. "Reconciliation confirmed," one headline read, as fans celebrated the unexpected reunion. During the live event, Kelly presented an award for Best Vocal Performance, and when she opened the envelope, the winner was Eddy Swims. The crowd erupted in cheers. Kelly smiled genuinely as she announced his name, saying, "You've earned this, buddy." Eddy walked on stage, visibly emotional, and said, "Coming from you, that means the world." The applause seemed endless. That televised moment officially ended the feud in the public eye. Commentators praised both stars for showing grace, humility, and emotional growth. "It's not about who was right or wrong," one wrote. "It's about how two artists chose healing over hostility." Their story became a modern reminder that authenticity, not perfection, connects most deeply with audiences. In the weeks following the awards, Eddy's career soared even higher. His album sales spiked, his fanbase doubled, and his emotional honesty became his trademark. Kelly, meanwhile, gained recognition for her ability to navigate tough interviews with empathy. The two had unintentionally helped each other grow, personally and professionally. A year later, Teddy appeared again on The Kelly Clarkson Show, this time by his own request. Kelly introduced him warmly to roaring applause. "I think this time," she joked, "we'll make it through the whole segment." Teddy laughed, replying, "No walk-offs today, promise." The moment symbolized how far they'd both come since that fateful day. The interview was everything the first one wasn't. Relaxed, funny, and heartfelt. They talked about forgiveness, fame, and the pressures of performing emotions in front of millions. Teddy admitted, "I was in a bad place back then. You caught me on a rough day." Kelly smiled and said, "We've all been there, trust me." The audience applauded warmly, some even tearing up. Clips from the reunion went viral again, but this time for their message of growth and friendship. The internet dubbed it the redemption interview. Fans shared side-by-side edits of the original confrontation and the new segment, calling it proof that people can evolve. Even the harshest critics praised both artists for showing maturity. Over time, the entire saga became one of those rare showbiz stories with a genuinely uplifting ending. Teddy continued performing on global tours, often dedicating a song to the moment that changed everything. Kelly went on to host more live interviews with newfound empathy, often quoting, "Sometimes, the hardest conversations become our biggest lessons." In the end, the clash between Teddy Swims and Kelly Clarkson wasn't remembered for its tension, it was remembered for its transformation. Two artists, caught in a moment of raw honesty, reminded the world that imperfection is human and that even a storm on live TV can lead to clarity. Their story lived on as one of the most authentic moments ever captured on daytime television.